is mentioned 15th of January in 2017.
Okay.
And also 22nd of January in 2017. But at the last page, which is the second page, at the last paragraph, it mentioned January 22nd of 2018.
Okay, let me check. 2018. So all the date that I can, which page do you mean? All the dates that I can see are on 2018. 15th of January,
It's
2018.
the first page. The first page. It says under statement of work, after the specification,
Okay.
where it says demonstration date at client's site, negotiable,
Yes.
and after that, you have got delivery due date goods in 2017.
The file that I have that I just downloaded from the assessment, it says 2018. I can share it with you.
Because I printed out and I highlighted. I'm not sure anybody else got that problem or not, but
yeah, I've got the same dates on this one. Not sure if you can read it.
Can you? Sorry. Can you see the page now? Can you?
Yeah, I can see it's 18.
Yeah, it's been updated now.
Okay, so I don't know what happened. Maybe they have checked it again and there was a mistake, but you consider January 15, 2018 for,
Okay, that
and
would be
also January 22nd for also 2018.
Okay, that's fine. That's so it's updated, obviously.
All right. Okay. So
beautiful.
Well, these are delivery dates of laptops and desktops. What do you think about the project start dates? What is the project start date?
Project start date, actually, that's something that we have to decide on, right?
Yes.
Because there is something in there, for example, demonstration date that we need to negotiate.
Demonstration dates actually would be one of your milestones.
Yeah.
But, the project start and project finish can be considered or as your milestone as well. For the project to start, you, imagine that you will have a submission date, which would be, let me check, which would be end of week 3. So you might consider that you will prepare your proposal for a project that is coming after your submission date. So, for example, take 3 days for our response, and then we will award the project to the winner. So, project can start 3 days after the delivery, the submission of your proposal. So, you might want to plan from that date.
Okay, but we put 28th of May for the submission date, right? That's the day we submit the proposal?
Yes. So consider 1-2 days after that, you can start the your project. So your project planning starts from, for example, it can start from 1st of June.
1st of June. But it's going to be very early, wouldn't it?
That's okay. That's okay. It's important to pick up a start date after the day that you submit your proposal. That's the important thing. Now you can make 3 days or 1 week. That's okay for me.
Okay, but the delivery date and the start of the project date is quite a long period in there.
Okay.
Is it okay?
It's probably because they have changed the dates. So let me check. You might consider to. I don't know why they changed these dates, but you so consider 1st of June 2018. Is that okay with you?
Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying that, you know, if it is okay, we can just, because there's a long period. It's more than almost 6-7 months. So we have to have the
Okay.
activities.
So as they have changed these days, and I wasn't aware of them. Let me check. I will announce the start date. Okay.
Okay, that would be great. And
Okay.
also
Let me
the
check the
demonstration
duration.
date that we need to have your input in there, I think.
Yes.
And
And
also,
what do you think about the finish date of the project? Which date is do you think it would be suitable for the finish date of the project?
the last day of the delivery is 22nd of January.
Do you think that would be your last day of the project?
No, because the
No.
you've got another month's worth of deliverables after that.
Okay,
Yes,
so
that's right.
once you delivered, you will need to go for some other activities to finish the project formally. So make sure that you will consider those activities and you formally close the project. Also, you will need to have your payments and these things, and also prepare some documentation for finalization of the project. So that delivery dates won't be your finish dates of the project.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I just before I go for Microsoft projects, which is our main subject today,
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk a little bit about your contribution in the virtual classroom. Your participation in discussions are a bit lower than expected, so make sure you log in regularly to your virtual classroom, read the content, and participate in discussions, because these things are important to deepen your understanding about various contents that we are going to deliver in this subject. So make sure you participate in discussions. You can also answer to the other people queries or questions. Anything you want to add, Masmoud?
No. Is it for all of us? All of us that we are not, I mean, the whole class, we are
Yes.
doing an affirmative.
Yes, all of you will need to participate in those discussions, and you will need to post any questions that you might have as well.
Okay, great.
Okay.
One other thing, how do we get the approval for the
RFP?
The brand? And yeah.
For the brands, you don't need to get approval. What you need to do is to make some research in suppliers' websites, maybe HP, Dell, and these things, to find the right product for this project and explain it in deliverables description. So what you will need to supply in your assignment 2 is, let me check, is introduction of your company or organization. So you make an imaginary organization and you will explain your capabilities, whatever you like to put, you put there. And you explain project scope. So you look at the RFP and you will find what are the scope of the project. You will write it down. It includes the project start dates and finish dates that you will consider, and the price of the contract as well. Also, you will need to have a check on the project scope statement checklist and fill the parts that they are necessary for the scope. Those could be milestones, those could be objective of the project, exclusions and limitations, any assumption that you have at this point of time, and other elements of the project scope that they are already in the checklist. Then you will need to talk about project priorities. I explained last time, you will need to make that project priority matrix graph, and then you will need to explain it based on the decisions that you make for the project. In work breakdown structure, which is the third part, you will need to look at the scope, the whole scope of the project, and break down the project into disciplines of the work. And you should make sure that all of these different components that, or tasks and subtasks that you define, they cover all the scope of the project. And then you will need to explain the WBS dictionary. It means that every component that you define in the work breakdown structure, you will need to narrate an explanation for it and outline what are the activities that you are going to do in those components of WBS. In deliverable descriptions, you will talk about the product. Based on the research that you have done, you will find some suitable laptops and desktops. Then you will need to explain those findings in deliverable description. So this is your assignment too. The most important part from my point of view is WBS and the limitations and exclusions that you will find in the project. So you will need to look at every components of the RFP to find what are your limitations and what are your exclusions or assumptions about the project. So what do you think about WBS? What are the activities that you are going to put in WBS? What are the stages of procurement? So what do you think about procurement? What stages do we have?
The WBS will have the procurement activities like analyzing all the brand and negotiation, the price negotiation. Then finding out the delivery or either they have got the stock or not.
Okay. And what after that? When you decided on a supplier, probably one milestone could be supplier selection, your final option. Then
okay.
you go to,
and then we have to offer the testing or demonstration.
Okay.
Demonstration.
So yeah, that would be another milestone. So you will need to recognize these milestones in your project scope statement. Then you sign the purchase order or the contract, which would be another step. You will go for delivery phase. What do you do in your delivery phase?
For the delivery phase, we have to inform RMIT Procure the date.
Okay.
And we have to deliver the product in certain address.
So, what do you do with the supplier? What do you think you should do with the supplier? Are you going to check the progress of the supplier?
Yeah, I think we will have, of course, another purchase order which is back to back with them.
Okay.
And our company.
So you will need to, in your time schedule or your WBS, you will need to put some follow-up activities.
Oh, okay.
And also, once the project, once this product is going to be delivered, you will need to do inspection. So there are points in the RFP that they are already mentioned, and you can find them in the RFP, but there are some other elements that they are not mentioned in the RFP, but they are essential for a procurement activity. So make sure you have a research on procurement activities and include them in your WBS and in your time schedule as well. These are important. After delivery, you will need to do also some other activities. So make sure you you have a research on procurement stages and procurement activities to find what are the appropriate activities that you will need to include in your WBS and also in your time schedule.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Masood, I was just looking at that RFP. It says approval required from the client. It
Okay.
says the contractor must obtain approval of RMIT procure for the choice of brand and the
That will happen in
specification.
demonstration date. You will propose something now, but the final decision about the brand would be on demonstration date.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
But do we have to demonstrate the all three brand or two brand or only one? We chose it first and we demonstrate that particular one.
You choose just one brand. One brand would be okay. You may explain that you are going to evaluate 3 suppliers,
Yes.
but for this assignment, you just need to include one of your brands, one select. Okay.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
So,
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
any question?
Yes, I do have one question about this assignment. How about the cost? Do we need to prepare the cost in the assignment? Because I noticed they mentioned about the budget. We
You will need to
know the budget, but how about this the cost? Do we need to present the cost at this assignment?
Yes, you will need to. It goes for your assignment 3. Once you put your time schedule in the software, you will allocate resources and relevant finance and capital that you will estimate. Then you will put it into the software and you will come up with a budget plan and also a cash flow statement of the project. And then you will report them in your assignment 3.
But in assignment 2, do you have to mention that? Mention about the cost?
Because you haven't gone for the budget estimation for this assignment 2, you will need to put 100,000. That's okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
But in assignment 3, you will need to come up with actual
Breakdown of the
budget.
cost. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to start with Microsoft Project. Anyone with experience in Microsoft Project 2013 or other revisions?
No. All the versions.
Okay.
Older, yeah.
Okay. So okay. So you will log into your My RMIT. Do you see the page that I'm? Do you see My RMIT page now?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. So then you will go to My Desktop here. You log in. And then you will, when you are on apps, you will search for projects. And you click on the icon Project 2013. If you remember in week 2, we had an example history term project. I'm going to practice in Microsoft project with that example. So Microsoft project is very similar to other Microsoft products like Word and Excel. So I will open a blank page. This is the first view that you have from the software. Before I explain this, the basics of the software, you should know that this software does not think on behalf of you. So you just, you will need to define the activities yourself, sequence the activities yourself, estimate, find out the resources and estimate the needs for those resources. And you should be able to estimate the activity duration yourself. But the software will help you to visualize your time schedule and make other plannings. And further on, you make your progress and compare it with the baseline that you will make. So don't expect that the software think on behalf of you. Okay, so this is on task. This is the basic view. We call it Gantt chart view. If you want to see other views in the software, you will need to click below File here. When you are on Task tab, you click on Gantt chart, and you will see other pages that are available for your work. So you will have access to network diagram, which is the content of week 2. Resource sheet and resource usage and resource graph, they are the content of week 3, but we briefly discussed them here. And other pages that you can access and work. So the main page that we focus on is the Gantt chart. Before I start with putting tasks and allocating resources or finding a sequence of activities, you will need to enter project information. So if you click on Project tab on top, you will see that there is a Project Information tab here. So this is where that you put the start date or finish date of the project based on the way that you are going to plan for the project. You can see now the project is on default, is on today, but for your projects you will need to put in a start date here in order to start from the right time. Sometimes this is forward passing as it is mentioned in your week 2 content. Sometimes it is necessary to work backward. You go for backward passing. You start from the end of the project and planning to find the start of the project. In this case, you set schedule from project finish date. Now you can see that you can allocate a finish date to your project. But make sure for your project, you start from start dates. So you go forward passing instead of backward passing. So right now, I'm going to change this to
1st of June.
1st of June for this example that we make. So now the calendar is and start. Another area that you will need to look at it, but in your assignment 2, you don't need to change it. Change working times. There are projects that they are working, for example, in 2 shifts or the whole day, or you are working on Saturday and Sunday. So this is standard calendar view that you have, but you can change it the way you want, or you can set a new calendar. or you can exclude some working days, for example, holidays or those things based on Australian calendar or whatever. You can change it here. For exceptions, these are exceptions days. For example, you enter whatever off day, and you demonstrate the dates. So this is the way that you set exceptions days or non-working days. If you want to change the calendar, you come to the option. Oh, sorry. You come to the detail, and you set the details of those days that you want to change here. For example, you on Monday, you want to set it as non-working day. You do it here. So when you set this one and click OK, all Mondays are will be set as non-working days. Or you can say you can set specific working days here. For example, on Mondays you want to start from 10 to 12, and then from 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. at night. So you will set it here. So this is the way that you change the calendar of the project. But in your assignment 2, you don't need to do that.
For assignment 3, we don't have to do that.
No, you don't need to do that. Okay. So I talked about calendar and I talked about project information. Now we go back for entering the tasks. You can easily add some pre-specified columns here. For example, you will need to have WBS. So you simply click right click and insert column. And for example, search for WBS. Now you will have your WBS here. Now, once you identified your tasks, you will put them here. You will list them here. For example, in our project, I start adding tasks. You can also log into your Microsoft projects and follow the same as me.
Excuse me.
So we haven't entered the duration or a start date yet. So in this area, you will see no tracking Gantt or no duration of activities. Okay. So it is, this is, you see the task mode?
Yep.
All set on manual now. For simplicity, you will need to change all of these into automatic mode. So what you will need to do, you select all the activities, and you in task tab, you go for auto schedule. Okay? It's more simpler than putting manual. So put it on manual because you are not experts in the software, you will get confused. So make sure before planning, set it on auto schedule.
Okay. Masood, the question, you know, you put WBS and that automatically generated 1, 2, 3, 4 of those numbers.
Yes,
now,
because I haven't set the subtasks yet.
Okay.
Okay, now I will show you how to set the subtasks. You see, there are out indent task and indent task. So, for example, we have in activity 1 and activity 4, conduct research, we have 2 subtasks. So I select those 2 and click on indent task. So it automatically goes to show you the new WBS 4.1 and 4.2. And also for write-up report, we have 3 subtasks. So I select them and indent task. If you want to go back, you outdent it. Okay?
Okay.
Is that clear?
Yeah, but what I was saying that, you know, in WBS dictionary, use
You don't include dictionary here,
no,
but
yeah.
you will need to because we will need to prepare WBS by another software. For example, you can do it by Visio or another, or even Word. Put it into your assignment 2 and describe the activities the each WBS in your WBS dictionary. What we are talking now is about your assignment 3 and making time schedule.
Okay.
Okay. Now you put the estimated durations in duration part. This is 4, 2, 1. For subtasks, for tasks that or activities that have subtasks, you don't need to put any value here. It's the software automatically generated based on the subtasks. So you come over activity 1.1 and this 10 days, 6 days. Now the software automatically set the longer duration because we haven't set the dependencies of the activities yet. Okay. Now it's the time to set the sequence of activities. So there is a column named predecessors. You will set the sequence of activities here. For example, activity 2, it's connected to activity 1 with a finish to start. So if you see this is the identifier, you will just need to put the identifier number here. So the second activity has identifier 2. So the first one is 1. So I put 1 here. Now you see that those activities connected together with the finish to start sequence.
What?
Is it clear?
Yes.
Sorry.
Okay. Or you just put 1 FS. So if you want, if the activity is set on something else, for example, I just double click to see the task information on predecessors. You can also do it. You can see that this is finish to start. If you want to change it to something else, you have other functions here. Start to start, finish to finish, start to finish. And sometimes you want to define positive or negative lag for your activities. For example, if you want to put 1 day lag, positive lag, you put it here. See, the activity just jumped in 1 day more. So because we have set 1 day lag. Or if you just make it -1 day, it comes 1 day before. So you can use these kind of things when you do planning. Make sure you don't connect those activities that have subtask you just leave them, because the software will find, once you connected all predecessors subtasks together, software will find the relationship. So don't put any number or predecessor here. It confuses you, and also you can't get the critical path right. If you want to connect some activities, they are merge activities. It means that they have 2, 3, or more predecessors. So you just use virgule. So for example, in this case, it connected to identifier 5 and 6. You just do it right now, like this. Or you can double click, and here on predecessor, you can identify the tasks here and do it in another way. So there are 2 ways to identify the predecessors. One from double clicking and double clicking on each activity and going for task information predecessors, or you can directly put it in predecessor parts. Okay. Now, when you want to see the whole page, the whole timeline, you can right click, click on zoom, and click on entire project. So you can now see all the activities, they are connected together. If you want to make one activity, you will need, in your time schedule, you will need to identify milestones. So on any duration, if you put 0, it's set as milestones. So diamonds means milestones in the software. So you will need to identify your milestones by putting 0 on the duration. Is that clear?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So this is the way that you sequence activities. Once you finish the sequence of activities, you will need to critical path. What is critical path? Anyone remembers what is critical path?
The one of the longest period, that any task that takes longer period.
Okay. So the longest duration of the activities in a project is called critical path. It is critical because any change in those activities in terms of duration or resources will cause project end dates to change. So that's why we call it critical path. So you will need to identify your critical path. So you go for project, sorry, you go for format. And when you are on task, you go for format and you click on critical tasks. So software will show you the critical paths. Those that are in red, they are your critical path. So what do you think about the activities that they are not on critical path? For example, this blue activity, number 6, is not on critical path, so it is on blue. What does it mean?
You've got some play.
So it means that we have some slack. If we delay these activities until some certain dates, there would be no change in duration of the project. You can shift these activities to here, and there is no change in our plan. So these activities have a slack. If you want to see a slack times and identify them, you just click on a slack. You will see that this activity has this much slack. So activities that they are on critical path, they have no slack. Okay. Any question? Because I want to move on to identifying the resources.
About the critical path in your diagram, what I can see on the screen now is most of them are critical.
Yes.
Is it okay to have the project to have a lot of critical and only few non-critical?
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. But it depends on the project. Some projects have many activities on critical path, some not.
Okay.
For example, we in the projects that I was working before, oil and gas projects, you mainly have long delivery items. For example, I was working on a compressor station project. The delivery of the compressor, the whole project was 12 months, but we had a compressor that the delivery time was 10 months. So when we had our schedule, most of the activities have enough slack, and they were not on the critical path because that long lead item was covering most of the critical path. So it depends on the project.
So, Masood, this particular mapping process in Project 13 is part of the third assignment. After we've given a response, we're building from our project proposal, we're actually building the project plan in project as part of the third assignment.
Yes,
including
exactly.
Costs and resources.
You will put cost, resources, and you will report these pages to your assignment. Okay.
So it's not a written report at all. It's all done in MS Project.
Yeah, most of the parts in your assignment assignment 3 will be done in assignment in Microsoft Project. You will need to report them into your assignment 3, but you will need to discuss it there. So beside what you generate from the software, you will need to discuss it. For example, assumptions that you make when you do time scheduling, or assumptions that you will make for budgeting. Those assumptions will form your discussion in your assignment 3.
So we have to have two files, right? One of that MS file, Microsoft Project file.
I don't need to see your MS file. You put all of them into your assignment. So I will see just one file.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to move on to resource sheet. So when you click on task again, you will have this tab, view tab. You click on it, you go for resource sheet. Now it is blank because no resource has been assigned. Now I'm going to assign resources here, name them, and discuss about types of resources. So in this example, we have Alex, we have Gary, we have Neil, and we have Professor. And so these are human resources. We only have human resources in this example. So you see that all the type of resources has been set on work. This, when you have human resources, you set this type as work. But for example, you have other kinds of resources. There are resources that they are getting consumed in the project. For this project, it could be papers. Okay? So these are consumables. So you will set them as material. There are other resources that they are not getting consumed in the project, but they are essential for the project. For example, in your case, it could be capital. For example, you have laptops and desktops that you will buy, and there are costs associated for those laptops and desktops. So you will need to set them as cost. When you set them as cost, you will see that you cannot put a standard rate. So you will need to set them somewhere else that I will talk about it later. Okay. Now, going back to human resources, you will see that you have type, you have material name. You can put a description of material here. For example, in this case, we have material, paper as material. So what do we mean with paper? The unit of analysis of that papers, what is it? We talk about one paper or 100 paper. So for example, we put 100 papers. So this means that whenever we allocate a resource named paper, we mean 100 papers. Okay? Or when we put bricks here for example, construction project, we can set it as 100,000. So whenever we allocate bricks to one activity, we mean that we talk about 100,000 of bricks. So this is the objective of this column. Okay.
I got lost.
So initial they are just acronyms of resource name. So you can set whatever you like, because there are some parts of the software that they show you these initials. So for example, if you put long names here, you will need to set initials. Okay. So groups doesn't work for you. When we have a pool of resources, we set it as groups, but you don't need it in your assignment and in this course. Maximum means 1 unit, so 100% means 1 unit of the job. For example, in some cases, you have a group of people that they are working in one particular discipline. For example, electricians. So this is 100. We have 4 electricians, so we set it on 400. So this means that you have access to 4 electricians. So each 100% means 1 unit of that resource. Sometimes you have, for example, if Alex is not available full-time in this project and he just can work 4 hours a day, you will set it as 50%.
50%.
Is that clear?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, you have a standard rate. So when you go for budgeting, you will need to put these numbers over. This is overtime. This is a standard rate. Also, we have another column, cost per use. Sometimes a resource that is coming to the project to work, it has, for example, tools that he or she will charge for that tools. For example, you bring a bricklayer into your project, and that bricklayer has a number of other tools or machinery that he will bring to the project, and he will charge for it. So you will set those one-time costs here. So whenever you allocate that person to a task, this cost will be charged to that task. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Yep. Just going back, standard rate, do you set it up in this sheet, or you got to go somewhere else?
You have to set it up here.
Okay.
The only costs that you will set somewhere else is those resources that has been set on cost.
Okay.
You will put the fixed rate somewhere else. Then you have accrue column. in accrue column, you have three options: start, prorated, and end. These items become important when you want to calculate your cash flow. So it is important that that resource will receive his or her money at the beginning of the activity. So you will set it as start. Or he or she will receive at the end or proportional. So if receive it at end, at the end of activity, you put end. And if you receive it, if he receive it proportional, you set it as prorated. Okay. And this one represents the calendar. Some of your resources, they have other calendars. So right now, on default, it is set on standard, which is your standard calendar. But sometimes you have other calendars for each of your resources. So you will need to set these things. For your case, you just need to put it on standard.
Standard.
Okay. Now we set all of our resources. We move back to our Gantt chart to allocate these resources to our activity. So we go back to Gantt chart view. Now you have another column here, resource name. So you can add resources by just clicking here. For example, we want to allocate Alex, Gary, and Neil to this activity. So the name appeared, then their names appeared here. It means that the resources are allocated. So I'll move on for the other ones. The other way to do that is just double click on activity and go for resources here. You will find your resources and other more options here. So again, you set your activity, your resources. Now, if you want to set another working time, you can change these figures. For example, for this activity, Gary can work just with 50% of his time. So we will put 50%. Or Neil work overtime for more than 50%, so we put 150 here. So if any other cost is associated, you can also add it here. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Now you see that all the resources has been allocated to tasks. Now I go back to resource sheet to put some rates here. For example, 25, 25, 25, 100. Okay. Now, when I go back to Net's Gantt chart view, and then to view the cost on this page, you can see, you can go for View tab, and on Tables, you set it, instead of entry, you set cost. So you will see that the costs of each activity has been allocated and has been calculated. So this is the place that you can add other costs. for example, if on activity 1, I enter another resource, for example, paper or desktop, for example, desktop, because it was set on cost. Now I will put the cost of laptop here. So this is what you will need to do when you work on costs, the resources that has been set on cost. So you will need to put them in this table. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but for example, those computer, we put $500, but it's only for one, right?
Yes.
Now, where do you put the quantity? Where is the quantity
For
going to go?
example, you set it based on the supplier cost. For example, if you want to purchase 40 laptops, put the cost of 40 laptops.
Okay.
Or for example, you will give them an advance payment, half of 50% advance payment. So you will put 50% first in start activity and 50% when they deliver the cost of the laptops or desktops. These are important for your cash flow table.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I think I want to show you other pages. Now you can see that resource usage has been set. You see whatever you have allocated, you can see the usage table, the resource usage table. Or you can see task usage. So here you can see what resources has been allocated to each task. And what are the figures. Okay. We already spent around 1 hour, so I think that's enough for now.
Just a question, where you put resources, the name, is it okay to put the functional description rather than name?
Yes, it is. You can do it.
Okay.
Yeah. What, for example, you can put project manager,
Yes.
IT specialist, whatever resource that you will identify. You don't need to put names.
Okay.
Okay. So,
Sorry, a very quick one. I do apologize if you've covered this already. This project, the software, does it come for Mac as well?
Yes, it does. I have a Mac and it works.
Okay, good. Then, I mean, the version that's available to us, if
an exclusive Mac version is not available for Microsoft Project, but still you can access it through MyRMIT on your Mac or any Apple product.
Okay, good.
Okay, but you can't install it on Mac. If you have the software, you can't install it on Mac. It doesn't work. But through your My Desktops, it is still accessible from Mac as well.
Yeah, okay, that's what I meant.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I want to end this session. In the next session, what do you want to do? Do you want to continue on the software and you ask questions and sort out your issues, or you decide? You let me know.
I think it would be good. I'm not sure what others thinking, but it would be good to go into a bit more detail for assignment 3 and that software. So
Okay. So anyone else? Any other comments? Do you agree with Nasimul?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So make sure you practice the software. Next time you have time to ask your questions, and because this is a big part of your job, and make sure you start working on assignment 2 because if you don't do it on time, you can't do assignment 3 as well. So please make sure you come up with your WBS and descriptions and set your activity list as soon as possible, because you will need to put them on the software and come up with your plan.
So for assignment 2, though, the WBS is just done in Word. We can do it in Word or Excel or anything like that.
Yes, but you will need to come up with a graphic representation of your WBS. Just similar to what has been reported on, has been put on your week 2 virtual classroom.
So in other words, we can start using the Microsoft project for setting up a WBS for assignment 2, right?
You can show your WBS, and your WBS in your time schedule has to be consistent with the WBS that you have in assignment 2, but your WBS has to have a visual representation. For example, I will show you an example. Do you see this page, WBS?
Yes.
Okay. Your WBS should be something like this, okay?
Okay.
And then for each WBS code, after your WBS, you will form a WBS dictionary. You put the WBS code there, and you will explain what do you mean with that component. What are the activities that are involved in that component?
Okay, but we can do that in Word anyway.
Yes, you can do it in Word, in Visio. Visio is a good software. It's another Microsoft project, Microsoft software that it is available in your MyRMIT as well. So if you go to your MyRMIT, that's a very simple and effective tool. You can access Visio here. So you can use Visio to come up with your graph. It's very simple, easy.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to end this session. Thank you all for attending, and please practice because you will have no time. This course is too intensive. It's overall 6 weeks. So make sure you practice and you start working on your assignments as soon as possible.
Thank you.
Thank you again, Masood.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.